Today we're going to do objective CE.3c. This is what we call duties of citizenship. Now again, this is just a recap, so we're not going to get into detail about everything, just a quick summary in case you did not understand the class material today. The first thing I want to do is remind you and distinguish the difference between a civic duty versus a responsibility. Remember, responsibilities are things you should do. Duties are things by law you are required to do. Major distinction there, okay? The first civic duty is common sense, obeying the law. Laws were made for reasons of maintaining control of society. And again, law is important. It could be laws such as very local, like your family rules, which usually incorporate laws, classroom rules, or following the law of your local community, your state, and your national government. We'll talk more about what society would be like without laws later on when we talk about some political philosophy, the difference between Locke and Hobbes, but we'll get to that another time. Another civic duty, which is required by law, is to pay your taxes. We'll get into more debate about taxes as we talk more about economics later on this year, but taxes are used for the government to provide goods and services for the people, such as roads, that's a simple one, public housing, food stamps, welfare, homeless shelters, etc., etc. It also goes towards defending our nation, paying the salary of our elected officials like our governor, and anyone else in our national or state or local government. Civic duties continued. It is required by law to defend the nation. Now this is an interesting one because until the draft was disbanded after Vietnam, it was a civic duty that men were required, if drafted, to serve in the military. Now, although the draft is currently disbanded, all men at the age of 18 are required to register for selective service. Now, this does not necessarily mean that we're going to have a war, but in the case there should be a war, then all the men's registration is on file. If you do not file for the draft, you could face stiff penalties, including fines or being sent to prison. It is a requirement for men at the age of 18 to register for selective service. Another civic duty is serving in court. This could be what we call jury duty, and it's really easy to remember this one being a duty because duty is in jury duty, or serving as a witness in court. Jury duty is done traditionally randomly, but our Constitution guarantees that all citizens have a right to trial by jury. That's in our Bill of Rights, in some of our crucial amendments. Now, there are ways of not serving on a jury. For example, if you are sick, if you are extremely pregnant, if you are the sole caretaker for someone who is very sick, those are ways of getting out of serving on a jury. However, if you witness a crime, say you witness a murder, you are required, if called and subpoenaed to court, to represent and serve in court and take the stand. Jury duty, again, is a complicated process. You go through a bunch of interviews. Many of your parents have probably served on a jury or been called up for jury duty. It's done in random by your registration at the Department of Motor and Vehicles. Another civic duty, as I mentioned earlier in class, is to attend school. You might not think this is required, but by law, your parents are required to make sure you attend school until the age that you can drop out of school, which I believe in Virginia is 17 or 18. That's a state law. Each state determines the dropout rates. Again, the importance of school is here. Schools educate the masses. They prepare you for the future. And your parents can be in trouble if you miss repeated amounts of school. So again, in recap, Objective 3c, duties are things by law you are required to do, and responsibilities are things you should do, but technically not required by law to do. I hope this helped clarify civic duties. Thank you.